So, you're wanting to play the new wrench game, the new 2025 stable version, but you don't really know what you're doing. That's okay. I didn't either. I looked online and I really couldn't see any guides or tutorials about how to do things. So I figured I'd make my own. Now, I can't guarantee I'm going to be any good at it, but we'll get there together. But we'll go over all the basics, everything I learned first starting out, everything that needs to be done, things that you should check, some of the most important things that I've discovered. But first, let's talk about the game. So, there are technically two versions of Wrench. This that you see here is the newest 2025 stable build. It's still got a bunch of bugs, issues, and all sorts of other things, but they're working on it. The other one that you may be most familiar with, where you work on the catfish, the F1 looking car, that is in the what is now called the legacy version. If that is the game you want to play, click up here. If you have the game, click up here. This will give you a walkthrough of where I teleported. This will give you a walkthrough of where it is, how to download the legacy version, and all that fun stuff. If you want to do the new stable version, there's basically two options. You can do the sandbox, or you can do the game intro. And the game intro is supposed to function as sort of a tutorial system, but honestly, in my opinion, it doesn't do a fantastic job. There's a lot of issues that I really wish would be addressed sooner rather than later, but we'll cover those when we get there. As well as a bunch of really neat troubleshooting mechanics I really wish the developers would add to make this process a little bit smoother. So, without any more yapping on, let's go ahead and get right into it. And here we are. Now, I'm just going to ignore all this garbage. You can clean it up. You can do whatever you want to with it. Also, there's some tiles over here. I don't know if it'll show the boundary in the recording. But there's also some tiles over here you can use to decorate the floor space, which is something I did in the last save when I was playing it a little bit. So you can use those tiles to kind of give you a little more personalized feel and aspect of things. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, please excuse the mess. This is a lightly guided experience, very lightly, showcasing some new features and wrench that are building blocks for a game mode that we are working towards. Before you can wrench on a car, you need a place to put it. Find your old jack stands. They should be around here somewhere. A dumpster's been delivered out front if you want to come to the garbage. Find the jack stands in your interactive display. So the jack... They're not there. Okay, fair enough. Well, now we gotta find them. They're not in the corner where I'm used to seeing them. There they are. So, jack stands. And we'll put the car right there. We'll put it there. Just out of the way. A car will be delivered soon. Get your jack stands ready by deploying them in an open spot on the floor. Meanwhile, pick a few car parts laying around to identify them and learn useful information shown on the adjacent display here. So this is your handy dandy little informational guide here where you pick up a part. It'll let you know what it is, what it does, all that kind of fun stuff. Also, I'll go over some of the pegboards here in a second, just going to give an idea of what goes where. So these are for your box. Whoop. These are for your boxes. I have two of them. I don't want two of them. I just want the one. But these are for your boxes. And I have been playing this not in VR, so you have to forgive me if I have to relearn some of the controls. But those are for your boxes. And there's also larger boxes down below, but you use the exact same thing. It's not any different. Same thing. These guys, these are for your, I believe, your ratchets. Yep. Take, store, and keep your ratchets. And, nope. Okay. I'm not going to bother with those, but just kind of telling you where it goes. But those are for all of your standard ratchets. And then so you'll notice these are circular, whereas these are more oblong. These are for your ratchets. These are for your torque wrenches. You put them in there. And then these little racks here, the single prongs, those are for your crescent wrenches. That's where you hang those on. One thing I will do is I will go ahead and take my sockets and put them in my racks because that just makes everything a little bit simpler, a little bit easier to keep up with and organize. I can carry them around with me since we'll be working out there. And once I get that done, I think I've gone over all the shelf stuff. That was simple. So I'll get my sockets organized and we'll be back with you. Due to a bit of a funny thing later on, I'm recording this after the fact, but due to a funny thing later on, I completely forgot to go over some of the troubleshooting ideas I had that would make it a lot easier for new players to get into the game and to really understand what's going on and what they're doing. So I just want to put that here really quick while I'm organizing the sockets. You can skip it if you want, doesn't really matter. But this is mainly what I want the developers to see, because I think it would add a lot to the game. Starting fluid. Just add some starting fluid. That would solve so many issues when it comes down to troubleshooting, because so many systems can have something wrong at the same time. It makes it really hard to pinpoint one side of the three-part pyramid that an engine needs to run: fuel, air, and spark. If you got the motor cranking, if you got it going, you're going to have suction on your air side. That's just how it works. That's how the cylinder, the compression and whatnot, you're going to have airflow. So with starting fluid, if you spray some starting fluid into your airbox and the car does not start, you know you have an issue with spark. If it does start, you know you have an issue with fuel. That would be so incredibly handy in the starting stages of this game. It's something that I feel like must be added if you want newer players to be able to really get into this and to understand what is going on. Anyway, that's it. Rant over. Back to the video. Okay, and we're back. So I just got my little sockets kind of lined up here and ready to go and all that fun stuff. For some reason, it would not let me pack this socket in here. It's just not going to work, so we're going to ignore that. Also, this one, something that it can do that the other one can't, which I don't really know why it can do that, is that it does not like that one. But for some reason, this one here can do something that this one can't. It can be clipped on the pegboard. Don't really know why you'd want to do that, but it's a thing you can do. So now, let's start on the car. Oh, wait, right. Car parts. So, pick up a part, look at it, tells you what it is. Alternator runs off a belt from the engine to provide charging energy for the electrical system. I'm not going to sit here and read over all of these and tell you what each one and everyone does. You can do that on your own. There's no big hurry to that. You can figure it out. So now, let's skip. Okay. Car, oh, there's the car. Car should now appear on the jack stands. Locate the key on the workbench with the key inserted into the ignition interact near the key slot to cycle ignition positions. Off, accessories, run, and start. Start the car. Let's go do that. And I cannot do... I forget how to do the pockets in VR. I'd figure that out later, but we're going to go in here. We're going to insert the key. So this is off, accessory, on, and start. And as you can hear, actually my audio settings might be messed up because I didn't hear anything. Let me check my audio real quick. Okay, sound should be good now. It was still playing to my speakers and not to my headset. Yeah, now I can hear. Oh no, the car is not starting. Whatever shall we do? So, first thing. Oh no, something's not right. The car didn't start. The required tools and spare parts necessary to fix it should be nearby. Part information will give you clues about potential issue sources. Try to get the car cranking and running. Let's do that. So, first off, it appears that we have no power. And something else I should mention, this now seems the appropriate time. This game, or this particular game mode here, is not really for new players. It is for, I would say, experienced, not even intermediate. Because this hunk of junk right here, if you've ever heard the saying, don't buy somebody else's project car, this is a perfect example of that. Because whoever put this together, and it's random every time, so I'm trying to go through all the possibilities that you need to do, but it's random every time. Whoever put this together either fell asleep halfway through 26 different parts of the job, or is a amnesiac and just forgets what they're doing every 5 seconds. Because my expectations going into this was that one, maybe two systems, maybe the battery would be dead, maybe this, that, and the other, something simple, maybe the spark plugs are dead, those types of things. That was my first thought. But it's not like that at all. It is, there's so many different things that could be causing issues, and they all compile on top of one another and make each other harder to diagnose individually. So let's tackle the snow start first place we can. Let's treat it as no power. So let's test the battery. We'll grab our little multimeter here. We're going to come over here. We're going to test this battery. It's about 11 volts. Not great, but should be functional. So now let's check the ignition switch. Did not mean to teleport. So let's do this. We're going to put it to the on position. And we're going to turn our headlights on. Not that hazards. No hazards. Okay. Let's do our lights. Oh, we got lights. So we know the ignition switch works. Because now if we turn it off, we turn it back to accessory, I think. There we go. Well, no, apparently the headlights are just always on. Good to know. I'm learning these things at the same time. Anyway, so now let's check the starter. It's going to be, how do I turn my headlamp on? How do I turn my headlamp on? Yeah, go away. I don't care about any of this. Yes. I do tools. I don't think any of the other context actions actually work. Okay, let's just ignore this for now. Let me go grab the flashlight. Not that. Okay, so, starter. Right there, this little bugger right here. So, it seems, if I can get my face in here to it, everything looks fine. Let's wire it up. Okay. I realized there's a button to crouch, so I didn't have to keep doing this in real life. But, what can you do? I was just going to fall off the light. Yeah, it doesn't float like it used to. Got a shawl on. Take this off. It's getting a little warm now. Okay. So, back to it. Let's check the ignition switches. Make sure there's no wiring issues going on here. So you're hooked up. You're fine. Aha! Hello. Let's see, where do you go? Right here. Wiring harness. So even with the wiring harness hooked up, we have still a no start. So let's check the fuses, I suppose. This is all figured out. ECU's plugged in, ain't gotta worry about that. So let's check the fuse panel. Cooling fan. Well, really, we can just kind of look it over. Because if any of them are blown, like this one right there, you can see that it actually has a break in the wire. Let's compare that to a new one. If I'm not mistaken, this is for the fuel pump, though. Anywho, this one, you can see, has that little third hill there, whereas that one does not. So let's go install this. New. Install. And we are missing the main 80 amp fuse. That's why these diagrams come in handy. You gotta look at them. We're missing that 80 amp. That should be for the starter. I think it's one of these. Yep. Let's go slap her in. By the fuse coat. Nope, not that. No. Well, still getting used to the VR controls. Okay. Now let's try it. Ooh. That was quicker than I thought it was going to be. Okay, well, let's point out some of the obvious things then. Something I thought I would have the chance to come across, but I guess not. So, I'm just going to go ahead and take this door off, because it just gets in the way. Go over there. So, fuel pump. 2 lines here, yada yada. Evap canister. Now, if you'll notice, something I've noticed a lot of people point out, but is wrong, the fuel pump. It does not have a wiring harness because it's not been implemented yet. So you can completely disregard that. Don't do like I did and spend like an hour looking for the harness, just peering through here like, where did it go? It's not there. Don't worry about it. Something else. Lines. The lines are very important. If you get it cranking but the vehicle's not starting, check your lines. Check your fuel lines because they can be disconnected. On one of the vehicles I did, the fuel line was disconnected, I believe, from the fuel filter here. So just check it and make sure all your lines are connected. And then it comes through up here. And this is where the fuel lines come out, is right here below the intake. There's 2 lines. They both run to your fuel rail here, the injectors. There should be 2 lines coming off of that. And there's 1 line going between here. So that's where your fuel lines go. Now, another thing that can happen is if it's cranking but not starting, check your coil pack wires. These 2 right here. This one and that one. They can be unplugged. Now, it does not matter if they're swapped positions. At least I don't think it does. Let's test that. But it should not matter. Should still start. I lied, it does matter. Well, hey, the more you know, right? So if it's not starting, that's something you can check. Swap those 2 lines. Yep. So check that. Another thing, I've seen this hose missing. I've seen this hose missing. So just double check. There's a nipple on here, like supposed to have some sort of an evap hose or something, but I've never seen anything there, and it doesn't seem to stop the vehicle from running. Now, if you'll notice, there's a wire missing. It's right here. Get back. Where did you go? Oh, don't do this to me. Why'd you do this? Why you do this to me? Oh, I missed the headlamp. I imagine this looks great. It's probably under the car. No, sometimes they can fall under the car. Let's follow it. It's the O2 sensor. Did it go in? It went inside the bell housing. Oh no. Oh, where did it go? Oh, there's the wire. There it is right there. No, that's not. That's part of the flying wheel. Got it. And we'll plug you in there. Okay, O2 sensor was unplugged. These guys are fine. Just gonna double check all the connections here. Lines. Battery looks fine. Connected here to the washer fluid. I don't really know that would matter, but whatever. Okay. Also, another important thing, your firing order. If you take your spark plugs out, you're going to have a bad time. So, if you look here, I don't know if you can see the blue lines in the recording, so I'm going to use my pointer finger. Don't really have one. We'll just do that, and I'll use my little pointer finger there. That is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Your cylinders start here at 1, 2, 3, and 4. The firing order is 4, 1, 2, 3. 4, 1, 2, 3. Don't get those mixed up. I mean, technically, you can mix them up if they're on the same opposing cylinders. My phone is ringing. It is time to put the track. Nope, it is midnight. Oh, wow, that came up really quickly. But you can swap them technically if they're on opposing cylinders. Like 1 and 4 here, you can swap those two right there. Or you can swap 2 and 3. It's going to do the same thing. It won't make a difference. I'll go ahead and swap it here just to show you. No. No. So I swapped 1 and 4. Should still run just fine as long as the sparks are on opposing cylinders. Yep, see? You can swap them. Doesn't matter. It's just important that you get the opposite cylinders. 1 and 4 and 2 and 3. And of course one of them went down into the valve cover. You can never have anything simple, can you, game? Where did you go? I stick my face into the engine. Find it. Oh, there it is. Where did you get? Where did you go? I'm following it down. Where is it? There it is. Nope, is that? Nope, that's flashlight. Ooh, is that it? Where's my hand? There, my hand. Let's see it. Can I get it? Ha! Gotcha. That is supremely annoying. That is one thing I really do wish they would fix. Swap that back. So that is, well, that's the basics. I think I already said it before, but double check your ECU, make sure everything's actually plugged up. Ignition switch harnesses, fuel pump lines, follow the lines all the way down. Check your evap lines, your PCV valve here. Make sure your spark plugs, make sure your coil pack's plugged in. You got the wires here coming off of your railing wiring here. Make sure they're in there. If you have power, but the starter is not engaging for whatever reason, you come down here, take a look at the starter. Right there. Make sure this little dude is plugged in to your starting solenoid right there. And then if you're still having issues for whatever reason, make sure you have a good ground connection. I think the ground is, it's somewhere around the back here. Right here. There's one ground right here for the wiring harness, the injectors. So where one ground is, I think there's one more right here. Make sure all your grounds are connected so it completes that circuit. And I think that's about the end of it. It's already midnight. It came up a lot sooner than I thought, but we got the car running. Again, a lot sooner than I thought we would. So that kind of completes this video. Hope to see you guys in the next one. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll try my best to answer them. If I don't have the answers, I'm sure somebody else in there will. So we'll figure it out. Hope you guys can get it running. And we'll see you in the next one where we try and get it to run a little more smoothly. All right. Later.